Okay, happy International Women's Day once again. The Oscars are coming up this Sunday. It's on Sundays. And two women that are up against each other, which is fine, obviously, is Michelle Yeoh and Cate Blanchett. Okay, there they are. Now, Michelle Yeoh, of course, is nominated for her first Oscar for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and it is thought that Cate Blanchett is her main rival to win. Okay, and Cate is nominated for the role in Tar that Tim Sika loved. Right, he loved that movie, and she though has 2 Oscars. She's already won twice. Okay, so the article that was interviewing Michelle Yeoh suggested that acting Oscars are very rarely, if ever, won based on a performance alone, underlining the importance of award season campaigns and whether voters feel a nominee is quote unquote overdue for a win and their film has captured the zeitgeist better than its competitors. So, and we've heard about this, like you have to campaign. Some people don't want to campaign for the Oscars award. You know, those the DVDs that they would send us, you know, that's a campaign. That's all like, look at this movie. It's really, really great. I, for instance, have always said that that Denzel Washington should have won an Oscar for John Q. I loved him in that movie. He did not win for that movie. And then I think he won the next year or a few years later, and he was overdue for it, is what a lot of people were saying. Some people say no, he totally deserved it for that particular movie, but that just goes into what you prefer. But here's where it gets kind of touchy. Michelle Yeoh shared the article on Twitter. And she was saying this, and this is what was kind of highlighted, and I have a picture of it, but I'll read it to you. It says, if prizes were handed out, Oscars were handed out purely on merit, it's difficult to believe that only one non-white woman would have taken home the Best Actress Oscar in 94 years, especially considering that people of color have been in front of the camera practically since the inception of movie making. And I don't think that's a wrong statement to make. But Michelle Yeoh is being vilified in some circles for posting that article. A one Blanchett fan wrote, but then deleted, quote, I've lost so much respect for Michelle Yeoh for posting this. The winner of the Oscars should only come down to the acting, not how many awards someone has already won. If Cate has 2, it's because she deserved it. And I feel like this is a narrative that always happens when women are competing or are up against, let's just say, an award, a top job. All of a sudden, it's like we have to get them fighting with each other instead of just lifting them up and letting the cards fall as they may. What is so wrong with Michelle Yeoh being like, you know what? I hope I do win. She's won so many awards this award season. It doesn't seem like a far stretch to think that she's going to win. And what's wrong with promoting yourself and saying, you know what? I am the damn best person for this award. I worked my ass off. It's a great movie. I did amazing acting. But no, all of a sudden it becomes this tit for tat in the social media world where, oh, it should just come down to this, when we all know damn well it never comes down simply.
No, it's a big campaign anyway.
Yeah.
But I wonder, you know, why do both things have to be true? Why can't she say, hey, in all these years, a person of color hasn't won, or whatever.
Only one person, Halle Berry.
Only one, right?
Yeah.
In all these years, this happened. Conversely, you know, the best person should win, which may be a person of color. In all those years, really, Halle Berry was the only person of color that had the. So, I mean, she has a point. Why can't you take the point and not have it mean that she's saying I should win solely because I'm a person of color?
Right.
It doesn't. Those two things are not, you know, mutually exclusive. I just don't agree with that. Why you have to come down on her for posting that, because it doesn't mean she doesn't want the best person to win.
She just believes she is the best person, as she should. And Randy asks a question that I feel like we get a lot when we talk about things like this. Randy writes, why does she need to play the quote unquote race card on this Oscar stuff? Okay. When people say those things, and I don't mean any offense, Randy, I really don't. Because it matters. See, it's like, oh, you know, let's just call it what it is. white people, right? White people have been winning the awards for decades, let's just say in the Oscars. And now all of a sudden, someone that's not white, and we're not supposed to make a big deal out of it. We're not supposed to acknowledge it. Why not acknowledge it? It's different. It's a ceiling that's being broken, at least hopefully again and again and again. And I feel like when people say, "Oh, you're playing the race card," no, it's just weird, right? I mean, for lack of a better word, that in 94 years, only one non-white person actress has won an Oscar. I mean, that seems hard to believe that only white actresses
Yeah.
out of all of them in 94 years, only one black woman has had a good enough performance to win Best Actress. That can't possibly be true. So then when we bring up the race thing, it's because we want to draw
Yeah.
attention to this.
And why is it playing the race card to point out a fact?
It is a fact. Exactly. It is a fact.
I mean, why is it playing the race card to say, "Hey, check out this statistic"? Doesn't mean I'm going to win or lose, but
Right.
let's have it in mind as we go forward.
No black actress had won since Hattie McDaniel won
Yep.
for 1939 Gone with the Wind. Was she up for Best Actress or Supporting Actress?
It was supporting.
Yeah, that's what so Best Actress, leading actress
Mhm.
was Halle Berry. She was the first that
Yeah.
did it. But I'm not saying no black woman has won it, but in this particular category, only one
Mhm.
leading actress in a movie has won an Oscar. Um, Oh, Karen writes in an interesting point. Maybe Asian actors need better roles that go to maybe white actors usually. Good point. Because we also know that a lot of throughout history, there's been a lot of white actors portraying
Mm.
people of different races, right? So that opportunity to be in those iconic films
Yeah.
was taken away or not given to them. They weren't given the opportunity. And two, there has to be money. Who was it that said it? John Leguizamo. John Leguizamo made a great point about, using people of different races to portray people of certain races. And he's like, we're allowed to make crappy movies too and not
Mhm.
be shoved off to the side like, see, people didn't like that movie, so we can't make all Hispanic or all Asian or fill in the blank movies that aren't at least majority white. You're allowed to make crap movies. White people do it all the time. There are so many crappy movies that have all white casts throughout, generations. They're allowed to do it too and yet still get funding for all of these films that may have majority black or majority Hispanic or whatever, or a mix. I like diversity, I hope we get to a point where we don't notice whether it's an all black film or a more diverse cast or whatever. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
We're not there yet. And maybe it's because we won't let it go. But I don't think that it's also fair for us to say, well, now that we're seeing more diversity and now that, oh my God, we may have two non-white women winning Best Actress, let's just stop talking about race altogether because we can check that box. We're not there yet, people. We're not checking that box yet.
Can I bring up Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah,
Because
that's a great
feel like didn't it win the Best Picture Oscar? I think it won
I'd have to Google that.
one.
But that was a great example of an all Asian, majority Asian
Mhm.
film. And remember the outpouring of support, not just from the Asian community, but from a lot. Like I see like my life, or at least people that look like me on the big screen in a movie that's raking in the dollars.
Right.
And that was groundbreaking at the time. And now
Yeah.
it seems like, we're seeing it more and more, which is awesome. And I just want to continue doing it. And I think the way that you continue seeing those sorts of things is by bringing attention to it, going to see these movies, which in turn will tell the business of Hollywood to fund these movies, which is what we need. It's expensive
Right.
and you
Right.
need to do it. It's something that has to happen. And I don't think I'm not going to knock Kate Blanchett. If she wins, I haven't seen the movie, but again, I
Yeah.
remember Tim Seeger really liked it. I think it was in his top 10. He really liked that movie. So obviously, it's a really good performance. It's a good movie. And if Michelle Yeoh doesn't win, I'm not going to say, oh my God, Oscar's so white. But I don't see that there's anything wrong with Michelle Yeoh saying, I really hope I do win it. I hope I am another woman that's a non-white actress that wins this accolade. I don't think there's anything wrong for that to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah,
Randy, so when you
I
get
agree.
there, there's no timetable on this, Randy.
Mm.
It's kind of like pornography. You know it when you see it. I think that we're not there yet, right? When people stop being upset, how about that? When people stop being upset when we talk about race and these things, and it's just like, yeah, and then we move on, perhaps that's it. But we're not there yet. Um, we don't see it in the investments. We don't see it in the accolades. We don't see it yet. Just similar to the homeless dashboard. When the analytics show us that
Right.
we're there, maybe then we could talk about. But then I don't think we would need to talk about it, right? All of
Does
these
it
things would happen at the exact same time.
does it take does it tarnish a win by a person that is not of color, like say a Kate Blanchett, if she
Hmm.
does walk away with the Oscar for Best Actress? Does that
Hmm.
kind of put a little sour taste on it? Or, did she win because she deserved to win and on we go and we don't look back?
I mean, I'm not going to be up. I'm not going to be in an uproar if Michelle Yeoh doesn't win. I will say it'll be odd if she doesn't win, given the fact that she's won. I think she's won it in every major award category so far that I know of. She won it for the Golden Globes. She won it for the SAG Awards. So it's not a stretch to think she'd win it for the Oscars. Not saying she has to, because then why
Mhm.
have the Oscars if it's going to be the exact same as the SAG and the Golden Globe? So,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to knock the hard work of Kate Blanchett. I think that
Yeah.
there's something fundamentally wrong with doing that as well.
Yeah.
So we just need to take it for what it is. I'm just saying the conversation leading up to the awards, I don't see anything wrong with Michelle Yeoh bringing attention to the fact that she may be number 2 in the 94 years of the Oscars. I see
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. And I hope it's a great night for everybody that's nominated because it's huge. Um, yeah, Eric writes, I still see people arguing racism is over because we had a black president. Yeah, no. Kim, we aren't there yet. And unfortunately, we got taken back 50 years under you know who. Yeah. I don't know if we went back. It's just that those people that like it back there came out of the woodwork more, right? Amy Brown, I'm assuming you're talking about everywhere all at once, everything everywhere all at
Everything,
once.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people love that movie. Critics love that
I
movie.
loved
I
it. I thought it was
I
so good.
couldn't it
Get
was
into it.
too like, you had to pay too close attention to
Yeah,
what universe we're zapping to now, and it was too much, like, I'm like, "I gotta go. I can't get through this one."
exactly.
Yeah,
I loved it. I was totally fine with it. I watched it when I was in the hospital with my daughter. I thought it was
yeah,
so good. And Kim says shouldn't
yeah,
have to force diversity. We should be embracing it. Absolutely. It feels good to embrace it.
yeah,
Honestly, it for those of you that are like, why do we have to talk about diversity? Try just embracing it a little bit more. I feel like your worlds and your community just open right up when people feel welcome. And it makes it, I don't know, makes the world a better place, in my opinion.